Hey everyone, welcome to another BRAP. It's Friday, December the 19th. We are closely approaching the holidays here. Christmas is, less than 7 days, 6 days away. And so this year, 2025, is just flown by so fast. So welcome everyone. Sorry, I need to check my mic settings here. Welcome everyone to the show. Great to have everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me grab Game Logic here. Logic, can you hear me?
I can, man. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear. All right, is that Matt Stoller? Who is that? You're the profile.
It's Sam Altman. I'm wearing the skin of the man who's got all your RAM tonight.
Ram's going to be the new crypto. It's a new currency. You know. It's interesting. Some of the live chat, Hans Gruber, reference to the antagonist in Die Hard. You must be talking about Xbox because Sony and Nintendo are thriving while Xbox is dying. These comments, man. With RAM prices going up, I'd say PC would be in more trouble than PS5 and Switch 2. What do you think about that, Logic?
Maybe. I mean, who knows? I'm not personally worried. I've got a machine, that's running on an RTX 4080 and 64 gigabytes of DDR5 now, so I don't have any need for RAM. I actually just gave RAM away. So it was interesting. Some thoughts that I heard that, it's the high end large quantity RAM that's going to be like premium priced. So like your 64 gigabyte sticks, your 128 gigabyte kits. But that notionally, 8 gigabyte sticks, 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabyte kits, that those prices might come down and deflate by next summer. So I think there's ways to work around it. I don't think we're heading towards a DIY apocalypse or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Logic. But welcome to the show, Logic. Was doing a quick intro. I've been under the weather. It's why we didn't have Rap Wednesday. So doing another Friday show. Finally feeling better, like much better. I thought about doing the show Wednesday. That I don't know, man. Just like I said, as the day went on, it just hit me. I was like, I got to get some sleep. I got to get some rest. So, the holidays are here, and I'm excited. Hopefully, Santa brings me some games. The Steam Winter Sale is happening right now, and I was just taking a quick glance at that, Logic. Couple games, couple bangers, if you will, on sale right now. If you go to the Steam store, Oblivion Remastered is 33% off right now, $33.49. Death Stranding Director's Cut, $16. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut's $35. Detroit Become Human is $4 right now. Ace Combat 7 is $5. Ranch Sim, if you're interested in a ranch simulator, Build, Farm, and Hunt, $2.50. What are some of the other sales here? Outer Worlds 2 is $50. Well, it's actually $49. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. The new Avatar movie, I think, just came out, right? I think that just came out in theaters.
Yeah.
Is $20. Stalker 2 is $35. Horizon Forbidden West. Is that Horizon Forbidden? I can't see. Complete edition is $35.99. Division 2 is $7.50. Revenge of the Savage Planet's $15. So Sniper Elite, $5. So some of the goodies that I'm seeing right now. Baldur's Gate 3. Digital Deluxe Edition It's $8 right now. Let me see this. Is this the full game? I'm curious. Or some DLC content. I don't have to look at this. Yeah. Logic, do you typically pick up anything on the Steam winter sales or summer sales where they have their seasonal stuff?
No, not so much. Not unless something that was particularly on my wish list pops up. But no, generally what I do is when I'm going to go buy a new game, then I grab the top whatever is on my wish list until I get to a spend of about $100.
Okay. Yeah, this the Baldur's Gate 3 is it's just DLC content, just skins, other game cosmetics, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not living that life anymore where, somebody lights a match and I'm one of the moths who come to the flame. Whenever a sale goes down on BRAP. Otherwise I would have whiplash because there's like a sale, like every few weeks.
Yeah. There's some good games though. Hollow Knight is $8. Spider-Man's $20. Batman Arkham City's $4. Ninja Gaiden's $48. There's a lot of stuff here. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I don't think there's anything that I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm still playing I'm still playing Arc Raiders. It's playing a little bit earlier this evening. I don't know. I'm in search of something else, Logic. I don't know. Nothing's really grabbed my attention. Oblivion might be cool to go back to. I don't know. $33. I don't know. I did see Divinity Original Sin 2. Thought I saw that on the Steam winter sale. I think it's for $11.
Yeah, do you not already own that on Steam? Because if you do, I thought the upgrade was free. I could be wrong.
I don't own it on Steam now. I do not.
I could be wrong because I was looking at something earlier this week in my library, and I know the store page said, I can't remember what game it was, but it said, the new game was a new game, and you would have to go buy it. But I can't remember if that was Divinity 2 or not.
Yeah, here we go. Divinity 2 Original Sin Definitive Edition.
Okay, yeah, Aiden in the chat said it is Divinity. The upgrade is free if you own it on Steam.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't own it, so it's $15 right now for the. Well, I'm sorry, $11, and then they have the Divine Edition, which includes like a digital art book, soundtrack, art pack. That's $15 right now.
Yeah, man. So for the price of $15, you can get the experience of realizing that Baldur's Gate 3 is the exact same game. Like I've been telling you for 2 years.
Oh my goodness. Baldur's Gate 3 is an amazing game. What's going on, Nate?
And Hero. There's some regulars. Hero, Dethrones,
yeah,
regulars in the chat.
No, I appreciate the regulars considering it's not a typical BRAP night for us. Like I said, I was under the weather, so just happy to be back. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh, so Logic, what are you playing right now? I feel like I haven't talked to you in regards to like games that you're playing, and
I'm struggling. I can't settle down with anything. I played some.
You played Halo a little bit. You played Halo Infinite.
I did play Halo Infinite. I've gone back to Destiny 2, so I've probably played 3 to 5 sessions of Destiny 2 over the last week or so. I played a little yesterday. Played some Football Club 26 on PC. That is also on sale in lots of different places for like $28. So I have that on PS5 and Nintendo Switch 2. And so I went ahead and grabbed a copy for PC as well. And I was playing that last night, and that's what I was thinking about playing today. And I was thinking about playing some other stuff. I had my final falling out with Microsoft Flight Simulator. That was on my list. And so I think I'm just going to play some Call of Duty tonight because I just need to play something that I know I'm gonna have, you know, whatever level of entertainment I'm gonna have for 2 hours, and I don't have to worry about, you know, being disappointed or, you know, spending my time in it and feeling underwhelmed. You know, I know what I'm getting with that game. Uh, so yeah, I've got my Go XLR mixer hooked up, which I haven't had hooked up in a long time. So I'm just gonna play some Black Ops 7 tonight and record some capture and call it a night probably.
Play with some sweaties.
I am because what I have learned over the last couple of weeks is that I am just going to play SBMM mode, and you know, let the people who are happy that they got rid of it in you know, the 14 or 15 other modes that are in the game except the one, and let people enjoy that because you know, I would rather play a mode that is sweaty, but then at least it's sweaty for everyone than play a mode that is made specifically for movement kitties and griefers, and you know, who are having the time of their lives, and then everybody else is sweating or just demoralized.
Having the time of my life. That's hilarious. That is funny. Hey, how was Halo Infinite these days? It's been well over a year probably since I've last played.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, it's, you know, it's kind of one of those games that you can find that you can enjoy a game more when you don't have any expectations of it. You know, in terms of a game as a service and a live service game, like, you know, when we were playing it, there was an expectation of it to kind of, you know, keep up with like the Call of Duties and the Fortnites, and, you know, come with the live service, you know, content, skins and maps and modes, and they didn't really hit, you know, stick the landing from that perspective. Now you go back and it's kind of like going back like during the 360 era, right? Where you know, before we had gotten that expectation of new content, and you just bought a game and it had a multiplayer mode and it was a locked box on the disc. And you just played it just because it was fun. And so that's kind of what Halo Infinite is now. And, you know, and you can go back and you can play all the old battle passes. So that's neat. It's almost as if when they made that design choice to have those battle passes be persistent, and where you could, you know, you bought them and then you could activate them or deactivate them. You know, there was a lot of ado about that being like consumer friendly and that being a draw to the game. I feel like it's in hindsight, it looks to me like more like they knew that there was a chance that this thing wasn't going to catch fire, and so kind of the do good deal by consumers was to, you know, give you battle passes that you wouldn't feel you had wasted, you know, if you hadn't chewed through all of them, because they knew that the game was eventually going to be on life support.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about going back to it, and I might give it another shot this weekend. Kind of see because I haven't. I think the last time I played, there were some newer maps. I don't remember. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I might give it a shot this weekend. If I don't pick up Divinity Original Sin 2 or whatever, you know, I might do that. And Nate's saying Octopath Travel's Zero's been my go-to in finishing up Ace Combat 7 campaign. Yeah, I actually, speaking of Nintendo Switch, Logic, I'm a proud papa today. Went upstairs, you know, went upstairs to get something to drink while I was working, and saw my daughter sitting there, and she had a Nintendo Switch out, and it's like, huh, she's playing on the Switch. I said, what are you playing? She goes, Shinobi. I was like, okay. And she was actually, I said, are you having fun? She goes, yeah, it's cool. Proud papa moment. I'm doing something right, Logic.
Yeah, you know, we're lucky these days to be getting good games, so it's not going to last forever. So people should definitely take advantage of, you know, what's available in your local mom and grop shop or your digital store online.
A lot of games. We talked about, it's funny, we had that conversation. Was it today? I don't remember if it was yesterday or not, but today, but yeah, there's just a lot of games. Maybe too many games. Maybe there's too many, and that's what I said during the award show. a lot of the reveal trailers being shown. I'm like, who has time to play all these games? I mean, there's just so much stuff coming out. I mean, even like I remember, like even when I didn't have a family and it was only me, it was Bachelor BRAP, and I had all the time in the world to game. I still didn't have enough time to game. It was just, I mean, with all the content that was coming out, I still didn't have enough time. One thing I did want to mention quick, Logic, is I'm sure many have heard sad news coming out of the influencer space. Tech influencer Lamar Wilson has passed away at age 48. This is so I'll read the article, People Magazine here. I'm sorry, give me a second here. Pull the article up. It's kind of been a weird week, man. You know about the tragic news of Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered by their son. And now this. I mean, this just I don't know, just a crazy time. Give me a second here. Did you watch any of his content, Logic?
Well, I mean, one of my top 2 favorite movies of all time is The Princess Bride.
No, I meant Lamar Wilson. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner. I mean, Princess Bride, A Few Good Men, Stand By Me.
Yeah. No, I did not watch any of Lamar's content. I didn't know who he was, or I hadn't heard of him.
Yeah, I used to watch his content on occasion. Just very super, came across very friendly. Was always very what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, I don't want to see that. I saw the right Titanic's playing the scene where Leo DiCaprio is drawing Kate Winslet. It's like whoa.
I think that's actually a safe for work scene. I've seen that. It's about how she's had to kind of push back and hold her own with regards to nude scenes in Hollywood.
Oh, really? She's done quite a few.
Yeah, I'm only aware of 2, but yeah,
she's done. There's been a couple movies where she's. Yeah, I mean, I can think of probably 3 or 4 that she's. Yeah, Titanic. There was one where she's a teacher. It's set in World War II, Germany, but
she seemed very well versed, perhaps, on Kate Winslet nude scenes.
No, I mean, hey, you never heard of Doctor whatever his name is, Dr. Skin or whatever? The hell's that?
Oh man.
No, I'm not well versed. No, that's terrible. No. I think she's outside of what you just mentioned. She's actually one of the. She's actually I think a very great actress. But it's some good movies. But no, Lamar Wilson. I mean, I didn't watch all of his content, but I did watch some of his content. Always came across friendly, kind of kind of quirky at times, in a funny way. But the so the cause of death was actually revealed. I didn't read this. I just heard that the announcement that he had passed away, confirmed on December 13th. I'm surprised we didn't hear this earlier. This cause of death has since been determined by the LA County Medical Examiner's Office, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office public records. The content creator died at a residence on Friday, November 21st. His manner of death was determined to be suicide. Representatives for the late influencer did not immediately respond to people's requests for comments. Wilson's final social media post was shared on November 12th. His family confirmed the tragic news of his death on Facebook update on Saturday, December 13th. So this is the first I'm hearing this. Just sad, very sad. The death by suicide, and speaks to some of the real challenges, the real and how real challenges around mental health and especially this time of year too, which is can be very challenging for people who have mental health. So, um, but yeah, um, are we having a console wars conversation in live chat here? Sorry, Elijah. I'm trying to read up on the live chat here. I don't know. Sony isn't immune. Oh my goodness. I have a feeling I know where the live chat's going to go in a bit. All right, Logic. We have Circana news. Hey, Logic, what's that? What's the box that's outsold the Xbox in the US? It's on
I don't.
Amazon.
I don't know what that thing is. I know what it
Yeah,
looks like. I've seen like one instance of the games. I yeah.
there was an
It's
article like about
it is
on the gaming biz. The guy's like, I don't know if he's the CEO. He's like, yeah, we're in 5,000 stores and we're completely sold out. We're having to fly shipments of inventory in.
yeah. I mean yeah. It's not a. So my personal opinion is it's not a newsworthy story. It's not a story for him to lose any sleep over. It's a thing that's selling like hotcakes because it's the hot toy for kids for Christmas for the holidays. I don't expect it to have more legs than that.
Like Cabbage Patch Kids. All right, Master Satella shared the November Circana numbers for 2025. Total projected spending across video game hardware, content, accessories fell 4% when compared to a year ago to 5.9 billion. Hardware, accessory, and console content declines drove the change. And then if you look at the top 20 best-selling games for November, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was number 1. Battlefield 6 is number 2. NBA 2K26 number 3. Madden NFL 26 4. So we saw bumps with Madden and NBA. EA Sports FC's 5 was 5th the month before. Pokemon Legends ZA was 6, down from 2. Ghost of Yote, the game that apparently selling bad, is 7th. It was 3rd the month before. And EA Sports College Football 26 is 8. Minecraft 9. Kirby Air Raiders new at 10. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment at 11. The Outer Worlds 2 at 12. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds 13. Donkey Kong Bonanza 14. Marvel Spider-Man 250. I mean, where's it's interesting. Haven't we seen Marvel Spider-Man 2 enter the top 20 the last couple months?
Yeah, so it has shown up on PC now. So, but yeah, it cuts against the grain of the narratives that nobody cares about Spider-Man 2 and it hasn't been selling. And I mean, it's been a title that has popped into the MPD charts at least once a quarter since its release. So, it seemed to be a fairly popular title.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was 33rd the month before. Now it's 15th. Red Dead Redemption 2 is 16th. Grand Theft Auto 5 is 17th. Borderlands 4 is 18th. Forza Horizon 5, 19. And Digimon Story Time Stranger is 20th. So those are the top 20 games for the month of November. Now, this is where I think it gets interesting, Logic. The 2025 year-to-date top 20 best-selling premium games in the U.S., dollar sales, physical and digital from digital data sharing publishers excludes add-on content. Now, I think in years past, right, we had the Call of Duty. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a sec here. Give me a sec.
Hey, Brep, I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I had a cough too. All right, we'll wait to go over this while Logic is returns. Yeah, Nate. Very sad news. Just crazy. Why Sucker Punch lost a key member to BRAP? I don't know. I mean, I heard about it, but I don't really think that's very newsworthy. I don't know. They're doing well. People move on. I'd say if there had been internal turmoil at the studio and they weren't releasing games that were successful, I think that might be something to talk about. The man retired. There we go. Nate says the man retired. I saw some people try to make some noise about that. A lot of those people that are making noise are just trying to, exact revenge on people for having constructive criticism around Xbox. Because bots are saying because Yote has bad sales. No, I mean we know that's not true. Just look at the Circana numbers here. It's selling on one platform, PS5, and we'll see. We'll see where Yote is for best-selling game 2025.
Yeah, I'm back, bro.
Yep. All right, let's go over the best-selling games for 2025 year to date. Number one's Battlefield 6. 2 is NBA 2K26. 3 is Monster Hunter Wilds. 4 is Borderlands 4. 5 is EA Sports College Football 26. 6 is Madden NFL 26. 7 is Call of Duty Black Ops 7. 8 is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. 9 is Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. 10 is Ghost of Yote. 11 is EA Sports FC 26. 9 is MLB The Show 25. 13 is Elden Ring Night Rain. 14 is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. 15 is WWE 2K25. 16 is Minecraft. 17, Forza Horizon 5. 18 is Split Fiction. Split Fiction is doing very well. 19 is Helldivers 2. And EA Sports MVP bundle is 20. And that's the expensive bundle. That's the one that has Madden and what's it called? The college football, EA Sports college football bundled together. So those are top 20 selling games year to date, best selling games year to date. What are your thoughts, Logic? What sticks out here?
I mean, the Call of Duty story is an interesting one. I think I was mistaken. I thought Vanguard, I know Vanguard had not done as well as previous Call of Duties, but if I'm not mistaken, it was still the best-selling, it was still the best-selling game of 2021 on that MPD chart. So, I mean, it's interesting how far down the list it is this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that was the thing that stood out to me. Number 7, right? I don't, and I have to go back and pull the thread on this. I'd like to see, I guess, if this is the lowest rank that Call of Duty's been in this list.
And, yeah, in the month of its launch.
In the month of its, yeah, because I mean, it was number 1, right, for month of November. But usually, what ends up happening is within that launch window, it's typically number 1 in terms of best-selling game, like just right off the rip. And yeah, now you have battle.
It's definitely had years that it hasn't been number 1. Like when it goes head to head, well, I mean, it's been a very long time since, but when it goes head to head with a GTA launch that year.
No, you're definitely not a GTA launch for sure, but I mean, generally speaking, yeah.
If we remember the statistic, I can't remember exactly what it is, but like basically over the last, I don't know, 15 years or so, like basically either a GTA or a Call of Duty game has been the number 1 best-selling game of the year every year with like 3 years like that of an exception.
Yeah, I was trying to pull some data on this. I couldn't pull anything right now. I meant to do this earlier, but yeah, but that's the one thing that stands out to me is that it's number 7. Black Ops 6 is 8. We know that Black Ops 7 has lost about 50% of its player count year-over-year comparison to Black Ops 6. We know that Activision announced they're no longer going to do back-to-back release date or back-to-back releases of either Modern Warfare or the Black Ops franchise. But it's still interesting. I mean, you see Battlefield 6 sitting there at number one. You know, I would have thought that based on Call of Duty's previous and like non-GTA years, that it'd be up there like one or two within that launch window as top selling game of the year. And it's sitting at number 7 right now. And I don't necessarily know if it's gonna move up or not. Maybe it will. I know that I think the game may have been on sale at one of the digital storefronts. Or maybe was it Best Buy? I don't remember. I have to go back and look. Somebody posted on Twitter. Wario64 had posted that it was on sale. I think maybe it was at Best Buy. But I'd just be interested to see if this moves up, into that top 5. But
yeah, so the years, in the years where it wound up not being the best selling game, when it 2018 when Red Dead Redemption 2 got it, 2023 when Hogwarts Legacy got it. Yeah, they were still the best selling games in that month. But I don't know. But I want to say in most other years when they are both the best selling game in that month and they immediately catapult to the number 1 best selling game of the year, like in that first launch month. But I'm still trying to dig for that.
Yeah, I remember Hogwarts being best selling game for that year. Yeah, I still haven't played that game, by the way. Have you played it, Logic?
I have not, but I did claim it because it was free on the Epic Game Store.
Is it still free?
No, that ended yesterday.
Oh, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, got it. I want to say it got announced as free on the night of the Game Awards, I think. And so it was free for like about a week.
Well, it wasn't meant to be. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I do remember Hogwarts Legacy outselling that year. Yeah, I honestly didn't think Battlefield 6 would be number 1. I didn't have that on my bingo card for 2025. The other games, yeah, I could see Battlefield, NBA 2K, Monster Hunter Wilds, obviously Madden, the sports games. You see Ghost of Yote still 10th.
Yeah, so see, from roughly Modern Warfare 2 2009 onward, when a new Call of Duty launches and is the best-selling game of its launch month, it almost always becomes the number 1 best-selling game year to date at that point in the calendar. So most of the time, it gets that top spot for the month, but then it also immediately jumps to number 1 for the year.
Yeah, except for like those years where you had those big releases of Red Dead Redemption 2,
yeah,
and then Hogwarts Legacy. Battlefield 6 is, I mean, I wonder if this is just a combination of Battlefield 6 releasing, that getting great reviews, fanfare, and then just maybe there could be some fatigue here with back-to-back Black Ops launches with 6 and 7. And then you mentioned maybe some of the not having that skill-based matchmaking.
That,
some players, yeah.
That for me is a question.
Yeah.
I'm curious to whether or not the tail of the tape, like long term, is going to be, they jumped to too big of a conclusion that they saw lots of people playing non-SBMM during the beta, and they were like, oh, this is what people want. Without considering that, well, maybe people were played that mode heavily given the option between the two during the beta because it was novel and because they didn't know it wasn't going to last any longer than the beta. So it was kind of like, it was kind of like a good with an expiry date on it. People were playing it. How well that persists, because like I said, from what I've seen playing over the last few weeks, in the regular SBMM room, you typically have a like more typical spread of points. With some outliers, but the norm in the non-SBMM rooms seems to be you have one person on each team that has like a 4.0 or a 5.0 or above KD ratio, and then everyone else has like a 1 point something, and then like multiple people have a 0 point something.
Yeah, so it's seal clubbing.
And it's a seal clubbing. Yeah. So like I said, those guys are having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else, I don't know that they're having, as good a time. I don't know.
That's like me walking to a server with slow-mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound like fun, Logic. So you think it may be that, but I also wonder if it's just fatigue too, like that. We had a Black Ops 6 last year. They released Black Ops 7. They tweaked it a little bit, but you also have some competition maybe with Battlefield 6.
Yes, it's not, the fatigue's not zero, right? But I also believe it's just because this year's game is not as good.
Not as good, yeah. Yeah. I haven't even played it. When I read some of the issues with this campaign, I was like, yeah, I'm good. And I enjoyed Black Ops 6, the campaign and the multiplayer, but yeah, I haven't even tried it. I might give it a spin during winter break. I'm off for about a week. I might do that. I don't know. We'll see. But I did see some people saying Call of Duty's dying. I don't think it's dying. I saw somebody say, "Oh, I got to a conversation with somebody on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, it's dying." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if it's dying. I think it's a little bit of fatigue. I think it's probably just not a good game. Like you said, Logic. It's probably not as good as Black Ops 6. It's another Black Ops game. Let's see how Modern Warfare does next year." Now, when they Logic, when Activision talks about, when they discuss like player numbers, like monthly active users, they're combining all like Black Ops 7, Black Ops 6, and Warzone, right? They're lumping all those numbers together.
I don't know. I don't know that I've seen, and again, I haven't, I haven't been on social media, so I've maybe not have seen
every single much.
I mean, I've seen every news article that comes across. I didn't see them say that they had dropped by 50%. I saw analysts saying that there was data indicating that their player base may have dropped by as much as 50%.
Okay.
And look, I mean, to me, whether it's 50% or not, like I think it's unquestionable that there's been a large drop off, and I think it's unquestionable that based on this NPD data, right? Because one of the things that I always say is like this game, we get much ado about Warzone, but I'm like, but these charts come out and that's not Warzone, right? That's the paid multiplayer single player campaign bundle that people are buying. So people are buying it, and they're buying it in droves. So for it to be down that far on the chart in a year, right? I mean, clearly indicates that there's some problem with uptake.
I wonder how much of this is Game Pass cannibalization too.
Well, there's definitely some of that, but the drop off last year wasn't as big. I mean, we heard about the $300 million, right? But the sales still seemed fine last year. Again from charts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it was, and oddly enough, it's like Black Ops 6 is still it's right behind 7 in that top 20 list for best selling games of this year.
Well, and I think that would be a key data indicator that I would look at too, because guess what? When Vanguard, right, launched, same thing. It was still high in the chart, but literally right behind it, the spot right behind it was Cold War. And what that tells you to me is that, look, if the last year's version is still selling like hotcakes in comparison to the New Year's version, I don't necessarily know that I believe that's because like the two versions are that great. No, I think it's one version is selling well because it's the new one. The one right behind it is selling really well too because the new one isn't that great.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah. And I wonder if you have some of that. Hey, you know what? Skip 7, go buy 6 for those people who haven't onboarded the Black Ops yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, very interesting. Interesting to see how it finishes the end of the year. But some of this data here shared by Matt. I can't even talk. Matt Piscatella has spawned a couple articles about console hardware. I know Chris String talked about hardware, kind of a slump. I forget who it was, IGN, and I meant to pull up her article. I didn't pull up the article. Who was the we talked about it earlier in the week? Logic. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, Rebecca Valentine at IGN.
Yeah. She said it was the this November was the lowest November for hardware sales since 1995. Right. I think November this year was 1.6 million hardware units. Not 95 was like 1.4. I don't know if I have those numbers flip, but I know those are the numbers. So, and then a couple articles have talking about November's data showing games struggling to reach beyond the core. Warning signs for recession has been flashing all year, but the U.S. sales slump is the starkest sign of yet of how vulnerable the industry's narrow focus has made it. I'm just going to read a couple things here. Logic. The sales numbers Circana released this week for the U.S. market in November are already widely discussed, but it's hard to overstate just how bad they are. Hardware sales down 20% year over year to reach a 20-year low. Software and services manage only a meager 1% year-on-year growth. On one hand, we shouldn't extrapolate too much from a single month of data. That's kind of my point. So why write this article? But we'll talk about that here in a bit. After all, 2025 is still on track to show a narrow sliver of growth overall, unless December turns out to be an absolute nightmare. If it does, that turns the narrative dial from sinking to treading water, which is still not where an industry whose finances rely on high growth would wish it to be. On the other hand, it's extremely telling that after many months in which recession indicators have been flashing in different quarters of the industry, November is the month when the reversal of fortunes really started to bite. This is traditionally one of the biggest months for hardware and software sales because it's the start of the holiday shopping season, the point where people far more organized than I start thinking about what's going on under the tree in late December. Consequently, it's also a banner month for the industry's biggest releases, especially those like sports games and the annual Call of Duty installment, those that are usually surefire wins with mass market audience. So, Logic, what are your thoughts? Just quick takes here, and I'll give you some of my thoughts. What are your initial thoughts here, just from the first couple paragraphs of the article here?
So I admittedly won't respond directly to those first two paragraphs because I was looking something else up. Overall, I mean, my feelings about the article is I was kind of a little surprised that the. Oh, wait. This is Bob Fahey. Oh, this is at Game Industry. So this is a Red Valentine's article. Okay.
No, that's not. Yeah.
I mean, where we seem to be is, let's see if I can get back to Piscatella's numbers. Kind of when I did see the Red Valentine article headline, I was kind of like, well, I mean, we are flat for overall total video game sales in the total market for the year. We're up by 1%. But it was 52 billion last year. It was 52.3 billion last year. We're at 52.9 billion. With a month to go. Video game content was flat at 45.9 billion at this point last year. We're at 46.3 billion. So that 600 million difference is only 1%. The stark thing that causes me to question like why there's as much doom and gloom is that video game hardware is up 10% year over year. So it was 3.86 billion at this point last year.
4.2 now.
4.2 now. So yes, yay verily. I mean, November was maybe, by their estimates, a bad month. But I'm like, does November eradicate what happened the 10 months before? Like, is that the game we're playing? Like, I don't get those rules. That's a new kind of simulation to me. and really weird. Normally in the financial circles I run in, if you burn hot, right, and you're upside for 10 months, then when you have a blip in 1 month, you just cross your fingers and reckon that you're gonna stick the landing in the last month. Like, again, video game hardware is up by 10%. I highly doubt that, and that's inclusive of this month, right? So
By the way,
you're probably not going to erode that 10% right in the month of December.
Yeah, and I just want to add too, Lodge. That's also in spite of Xbox, right? We know that Xbox revenues, console hardware revenue down 70% year over year, or for the month November, right? Yeah, 70% for the month of November. So I don't, Matt Purcell reported on that. And that's also with increased prices, right? And that's also with, I say increased price, but 2 price increases on the Xbox console, price increases on the Nintendo Switch 2 in comparison to the Switch, the price increase to the PlayStation. Yeah, I don't, I was a little taken back, Logic, by the article, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, like what, it almost sounds a bit doom and gloom, like, oh, we might have this problem, or gaming is failing to reach all these people. And I just wonder, Logic, is this a symptom of just the greater economic forces here, right? And that the industry is like other industries, right? That it's impacted by those other economic forces, like cost of living. Many Americans feel like the cost of living is still too high right now, and perhaps people are buckling down. Do you? I almost feel like those things were maybe, and maybe they are later on the article, but I think maybe that is something to be discussed, and how it's impacting the industry overall. Because we certainly, I think, do have those conversations on how inflation or high cost of living is impacting consumer spending in general, at least here in the United States.
Yeah, and I maybe wouldn't even stretch it that far as like, look, people, in this month of November, well, maybe it's the same thing you're saying, but maybe I'm just refining it a little more. It's the month of November. It's the lead in to Christmas, and so in the forecast of expecting money to be really, really, really tight, right, as you turn the corner from December into January, people said, hey, maybe I'm going to buy things other than consoles, right, for Christmas gifts. If I'm going to go out shopping on Black Friday, I'm going to buy something different. And I'll hold on and wait to see if prices are going to come down further in December, rather than make that purchase right now. So, I mean, right now, to me, it's a data blip, and then we'll see how things end for the year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's like, do we then erase, the entirety of 2025 because of 1 month?
Right.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. I don't disagree with you. And the fact, like, you look at the Switch, the Switch 2 sales, right? Excellent at launch. It's the fastest selling console in the US. I mean, that says something, right? I think what some people are maybe, I don't know if it's them overthinking it, but I wonder if some of this has to do with, okay, well, during November, we anticipate more sales, right? This has always been a big month for consumers to buy hardware and games and the like, to ramp up for the holidays. And maybe we didn't see that like we did last year. But I think some of that is, and it'd be curious too to see if we see that similar, if we see that in other industries, right? Or other, I don't think we've seen retail numbers from Black Friday, have they, in the US? I don't know if that's come out. I haven't been looking, so I feel like typically that's discussed. But if we see less consumers spend, I think that's telling, right? Outside of the video game industry,
right.
And I would imagine that probably points to, if you're here living in the U.S., a lot of the conversation right now is affordability. Even though you currently hear the current administration saying, "Well, inflation's down," yeah, but people are saying, "Hey, yeah, inflation might be down, but we're not feeling that." Energy's still high, groceries are still high, rent, cost of living. Everything's expensive still. You know, and interesting enough, logically, we haven't seen that that reduction in hardware in price. Like we're what, year 5 into the console generation, and there's been no price reduction. I'd actually argue. I think what they should be maybe talking about is how resilient the industry's been, considering, right?
Well, it's a weird thing. I wrote a thing to Matt. I think he's gotten into his mode where he doesn't respond to me after I ask him more than one question. But you and I talked about this a little bit earlier today. But I mean, here's what I wrote. I said during the overlap years of console gens 4 and 5, we had 8 competitors, and we had a gaming micro PC category. When you talk about the Commodore 64 and the Atari ST, in the transition to the early 2000s, it seems to me what the market said was long term, we're not going to support all these competitors. We're not going to support 8 consoles, right? We're going to support 3 max. And I think arguably what we're starting to see today is we're starting to see the market say, yeah, we're only going to support 2. Right. So it's a slightly different perspective than a lot of the, gaming is dying, games are priced too high, blah, 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 blah. The market also seems to be saying that it's not going to support the total number of games that are being made. People are not buying the lower fidelity stuff in numbers, right? We always have the argument of, people just want indies. They just want good enough games. They just want the cheap stuff. They just want low cost points of access. I'm like, well, if that was the case, Game Pass would be taking off, and it hasn't. And people aren't buying indies in droves, and they aren't buying AA games in droves. People are still buying the AAA games. That's why the AAA games are on the NPD chart by revenue, not by unit number, by revenue, right? So it's not that people are saying, hey, these games are too expensive, let me go buy the lesser expensive games. What they're doing is they're either saving their money or buying less or waiting for those games to go on sale, but they're still buying them. That means that's still the demand signal that the market is sending. The market isn't sending a demand signal for indies and for AA's. Like they're still sending a demand signal for, right, these big spectacle AAA games. So the buyers want AAA, but arguably what the market wants is it wants those AAA games at lower prices. And in the absence of getting that stuff, like I said, they don't go to the indies and the AA's. They bypass those and they go straight to the free-to-play stuff, right, with the microtransactions. And so we kind of have this weird stance in the market where the suppliers are saying, we would make the other stuff, but you guys don't buy it. So we're going to continue making the stuff that you guys buy. But the buyers are saying, yeah, we want that stuff, but we want it at a lesser price. And the suppliers say, well, we can't make this stuff at a lesser price. Like, it's too expensive to make. And so there's this big disagreement. And you might argue
kind of what Chris String talked about, to your point about we want cheaper stuff. He said the solution is cheaper hardware, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and in the meantime, right, we have this weirdism that Matt pointed out and that I had been saying, for several months before, which is that, quite frankly, and this is where I question where the market is going. What we have and what we've been experiencing for the last few years is it's really the spenders that are supporting the continued willingness to make AAA. The suppliers are willing to take the risk and the gamble that the expensive AAA stuff is going to sell, because the people on the market who are spending, who are only like 14% of the market, right, are keeping these boats afloat. So that's what you really have. And this is why I say, despite my run-ins, right, with the potato PC community over the Thanksgiving days, the fact of the matter is that in large part, like, the big companies, the big publishers, they don't care about them. They don't care. Like, in Christopher Dream, like, the answer is lower hardware. It's not that we need lower hardware. And Matt said too, what this next, whatever this thing is, I call it Next Connect. It's
but we have lower hardware. We have other avenues of entry into gaming that are cheaper than AAA or cheaper than going out and buying a PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2.
Well, that's my point. Is like you can fill that gap. You can pull a Samsung, right, and build a model, build a SKU for every price point in the market.
I feel judged now, but go ahead.
But the problem is, that's a really good analogy too. What happens in the cell phone market, right? Sure, people buy those things, but none of those handset manufacturers are making profit, right? What makes money is the big high end handsets. So Samsung fills in those gaps to make market share. So you can fill in those gaps of less powerful hardware, but the problem is that less powerful hardware plays less spectacle games, lower fidelity games, and people don't buy that content. So you may create hardware, but then how are you going to sell software to make money?
So, Lodger, are you saying that there's this like you're saying that there's a dilemma, right, within the industry amongst consumers who are demanding AAA experiences, but they want those at like they want champagne experiences on a beer budget, right?
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a phrase that I use every other week in my job. But yes,
that's right. I mean, it seems like it's just like push and pull thing, right? Where it's like, no, well, I want AAA experiences, and I'm entitled to those AAA experiences. And damn it, you got to give them to me at the price of a 6-pack of PBR. You're like, no, this thing's going to cost you, a bottle of Dom P. You're not getting that at, a 6-pack of Coors Light. For the cost of a 6-pack of Coors Light, that's just not going to happen. So you think that's kind of what's happening right now, that dynamic in the market?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a bit of it. And I mean, where could it go? It's
But where's this come from though? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's just interesting, like because I remember we talked about this earlier, like growing up, right? Like we never really talked about the cost of game. We kind of just accepted the fact that gaming is an expensive hobby, right? Games were $50, and you've heard me talk about this on the show quite a bit. $50 in 1992 is $100 today, or whatever the case is, right? When you adjust for inflation. And I understand consumers don't look at pricing that way, but but we always it was like this unspoken contract between us and the vendors, right? We wanted new experiences. We wanted better graphics. Every console generation. Oh, new graphics, more power. We wanted that, and we paid for it. We gladly paid for it. We went out and paid $50, sometimes $60 for games at that time, which is expensive. And it almost seems like it's that it's changed, that kind of social contract between us and the vendors, and kind of understand, like, hey, we know we want these things. You're going to give us these things, and we're willing to pay for that. It sounds like there's a part of the market now that's been introduced to gaming that said, oh, well, no, wait a minute, like I'm not doing that. I want the AAA stuff, but I want it at $20, and you better give it to me at $20 or else.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so we have an additional demographic, right? Socioeconomic demographic participating on the market. Where I think the bottom is going to fall out is the bottom is going to do one of two things. Either like they're going to decide who they're going to service. They're either going to service the people who are still maintaining the pact, like the pact of trust with them, right? Who are maintaining the contract, and those are the spenders, and they're going to cater to those people. And they're going to say, you know what, you guys who aren't spending, like, F you guys. Like we lowered the cover, right? This is the bar argument, right? People say, hey, if they would just lower the cover charge, then I would come to the club, right? But then you show up at the club and you don't buy any beer. Right? You ain't buying drinks. Okay, we're gonna put that cover charge back on, right? So, they're either going to service that high end spender part of the market, and the end result of that could be, right, game prices go up. And this is kind of one of the theories that I've had for a while, which is that, if you raise game prices on the AAA stuff at launch, then what you're going to get is you're going to get the spenders who are going to continue to buy, and you're going to slough off the people who are trying to participate, right, but are yelling and screaming and demanding for those things to be cheaper. And then in my mind, you then kind of create a natural organic market for the people to buy the AAA, or I'm sorry, to buy the indie and the AA stuff, because now they can't afford to buy the high-end AAA stuff. Or the market's gonna have a a severe market correction, right, where people are going to go out of business, and they're going to cater to these people who are not maintaining the contract and are not spending money. And if you don't get it, the people who have been telling me that this won't happen, when they do that, they're not going to continue making the expensive high-end stuff that those of us who bought PlayStation 5 Pros and the 14% of us who bought high-end performant PC gaming hardware like enjoy playing. They're going to start making shovelware ET games, right? And then we're going to be trading in pork bellies because games are going to become a commodity because it doesn't matter, right? That's what that end of the market is saying. They're refusing to pay for high quality stuff. So the market may make the option where it say, okay, no problem. We'll stop making high quality stuff.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you get pork bellies, where the only differentiator is price. And that's kind of what's happened to mobile.
Yeah, where you have like 10 games, like sucking all the air out of the room, like making the money, and then you have a bunch of other stuff. And and maybe there's a part of the consumer base that's fine with that, right? But that's not that doesn't leave a sustainable market to employ the suppliers, right? People aren't going to continue making games for that, and absorbing that level of risk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was thinking about the Circana numbers. You mentioned that you look at the best selling games of 2025. Most of them are all AAA games, right? Battlefield, NBA 2K6, Monster Hunter Wilds, Borderlands 4, EA, Madden, Black Ops, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. That's a remaster. Ghost of Yotei, AAA. Split Fiction probably the only one that's not a AAA. But most of the games here are AAA games, so it's interesting. I think you mentioned 40% of the market, I think, supporting these games. Is that something Matt shared? I'm
extrapolating the Steam. That's the amount of time that a Steam player spent playing new games. But because of all the false narratives that are just decoupled from any notion of data whatsoever that get airtime in this community, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to extrapolate that 14% number to only 14% of people are actually interested in playing new games on PC.
Oh, that begs the question then. Why would given
all the potato warriors that came at me over Thanksgiving, and then as I pulled threads, I realized, that Steam hardware survey actually has a lot more gravitas than I've been giving it credit for. These guys, these guys are literally like Innate, me, Slow-Mo, Forte. Like we are the single digit percentage people on Steam. I thought there were more of us, but no, all these dudes are running around playing on APUs, right? And 7000 series like Radeon cards, at the low end, and playing at 1080p with upscaling on a 25-inch monitor and bragging that they're, PC gamers and their PC can play everything that they need to play. And these guys are playing like games that haven't even launched in the modern era post 2020.
Okay.
Right?
Hey,
they're
PCs
playing
can last 20, 30 years. Come on.
They're playing 7 Days to Die, right? And all this mush, right, on Steam that's available for free to play or goes on sale for $5. That is the market.
Yeah.
Like that's why I was literally thinking to myself getting out of the car right before you called, right, earlier this evening. And I was thinking we are like a person like me, a person like Innate, you, Slow-Mo, we are actually lucky that we're getting new high-end video games. Quite honestly, when you look at the market, you could argue that there's no reason for the vendors to do that. And I've actually often said that. I was
but unless that 14% is driving enough revenue where that juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of them who are also taking risks, right? And that's No, I agree. The market has for a very long time, but you and I have quoted that risk factor, right, for very long. I think the difference in my perspective now is I look at that risk factor now in the face of a more refined belief in just how small the population pool is that they're trying to hit. And I'm like, like arguably like many of these guys would be fully justified in folding up shop, you know. Like you,
but that's always the argument I think of some people. They say, well, you're if you could sell, you need to grow the market, right? You need to put your games everywhere because you're only selling to a certain subset of consumer. But that's the consumer that's willing to spend that $70 or $80 or whatever the case is, right?
Well, right. Yeah, that's what.
And not everybody's willing to spend that. So you could put your games on as many platforms as you want. You're still selling to the same people that are willing to shell out $70 or $80 or whatever the case is. And on PC, if only 14% of those consumers are willing to buy new games, I mean, how much sense does it make for you to put a new game day and date, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
that's
like you have to weigh that risk. Yeah.
I mean, that's the article that I wrote earlier this week where I took that data and I said, so I said, look, 14% of people on Steam are willing to buy new games, right? Steam MAU's 132. I'll give you 264 million, right, for the total pool of people across PC who are interested in playing new games. To account for Riot and Fortnite and all that kind of, numbers of people who are not being tracked. That gives you a pool of about 37 million people on PC who are actually interested in playing new games, right? You got the top 100 new games of the year that make 91% of the revenue, of the new game revenue, out of 19,000 new games that come out on Steam each year. So in 2025, PlayStation, right, go into the argument, PlayStation should do day and date. In 2025, PlayStation published 5 games, new games on Steam. Stellar Blade, Lost Soul Aside, Midnight Murder Club, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and Marvel Spider-Man 2. So at best, right, if you look at that pool, right, of 37 million people, right, and call that kind of your virtual user base, basically. And, you and I have talked, I'm using a 10% thumb rule for target, like, sales expectations, right, which is high. But even if I go with that 10% target sales expectations on a user base of 37 million people, and then I multiply that times 5 games, at most I would expect to sell 18.5 million copies in a year, right? By putting my games day and date on Steam, giving me a whopping $1.3 billion. I give 30% of that cut to Steam, and so the PlayStation cut would be $910 million, which is 2.8% of their revenue. So then if you want to calculate it from another math model, you can look at the fact that Steam makes $17 billion in a year, and then if 91% of that revenue is driven by the top 100 new games, like, and I'm giving, again, deference, I'm taking the whole 17 billion and saying that's being driven by new games, which we know it's not, because it's actually being driven by free-to-play microtransactions, older games, etc. But just go with it. That would only be $15.5 billion. And then if I assume, again, hugely deferential, that every PlayStation published game is in the top 100, and I peanut butter that revenue out, I say that then those games would make 5% of the revenue, right, from that top 100, from that 15.5 billion. So out of that, PlayStation will get 775 million. And then again, they give up their 30% to Steam, and that gives them 542.5, which actually that bracket of 543 million to 910 million, like within that bracket is the $660 million that they do actually make, right? So again, I think the math is like reasonably sound. So, but my point is that, like you saying, right, I've mathematically walked into a proof where we say, hey, if they did put their games day and date on Steam, they would make a palpably small amount of money, right, for no reason, because hardly anybody there wants to play new games. And by doing so, they would also be putting themselves in competition with 19,000 other new games that are coming out on Steam, right? Getting you into how are you fixing the market? Clearly has an oversaturation problem. We have too much product on retail shelves.
Too many games.
So how does it make sense, right, for PlayStation to do day and date? And by the way, when you do all that, you are then unquestionably going to have some PC gamers who still buy a PlayStation 5, right, who are going to stop buying that PlayStation to go along with their gaming PC each generation.
Yeah. The calculus isn't as simple as, oh, you day and date, you sell to more players, you make more money. No. So no, I'm glad you actually glad that you broke the math down, Logic, because that is a piece of the equation that many people don't consider. It's very much like what I just said. You know, put it everywhere. It's going to sell more. It's free money. You know, it seems like the smarter thing to do, the less riskier thing to do, is release that game. You know, hit that point where it becomes very profitable off your one platform, right? And then port it over to the other platform. You know, where now you've released a game that's already profitable for you, and anything else now is just additional money.
And your risk
risk
envelope is less because the capital expense rate you've had to make that port is less.
Exactly, 110%. Yeah. Yeah, it's just oh, by the way, Logic, I found the name of the console that we were it's the Next Playground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are anticipating they're going to sell over 1 million units by next year. So they said it's only available in US and Canada right now. Wow, this thing's been out since 2023? No, that can't be right. Let's see this. It's only available in the US and Canada. The Game Industry Biz had an article about this. It came out today, actually. 2023, Next Team shipped 5,000 units, then sold 150,000 the following year after being stocked in U.S. retailers, Walmart, Target, Best Buy. I've never seen it at Best Buy, Walmart, or Target. Thanks to huge sales in 2025, 635,000 consoles and counting. The company's closing on 800,000 units sold to date. Expects the figure to hit 1 million. So this thing is like a Kinect-like type device.
Yeah, I think, I've been mentioning for the last few months that we should really kind of recalibrate our thinking, not us, but others, in the way we sometimes praise a thing because it's better than a thing that was bad, right? Like all this hoopla over like the full screen experience of Windows 11. And I'm like, okay, but time out. Let's not way overpraise, right, my Xbox and Windows for fixing a thing that was their problem that they created, right? And let's not overly praise it because it's an improvement on a thing that was bad, right? Let's in fact not overly praise it that they finally got around to doing something about it because they had to, because they've lost their competitiveness in the console space. Oh, well, we can't make a thing over there go, so let's go fix the UI in Windows, right? So this is a thing too where I think people need to think about. Let's not go running around pom-pomming and cheering the Next Playground because it outsold Xbox, right? That's like that's like praising somebody who sold more consoles than like the Sega Saturn, or the Dreamcast. Like when Sega decided that they were going to roll up the carpet and close up shop, let's not get overblown about like something beating like. So I think this is much more so a commentary about how little Xbox is selling than it is about how much the Next Playground is selling. Is my point.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Let's see. Night of Cypher says PC is larger than all consoles combined. That 14% is larger than PlayStation players who buy AAA games by quite a lot. PC is larger than console.
I don't.
I mean, are we? But
no, it's like again. Listen to the math that I just walked you through.
Well,
I said that 14% is 37 million people. And that's when I gave deference to taking the 132 million MAU on Steam and doubling it to 264 million.
Well, that's
probably less than 37 million.
That's also not going to take into consideration like the GPUs, right? Like you can't take the whole entire PC pie and say, oh, it's larger. That combined is still larger than that 14% is still larger because not all those PCs are going to be like Logic talked about the potato. I call them the potato posse that came after you. Not all those PCs are PCs that are capable of playing those AAA games.
Right. Those people are buying new games, but that doesn't mean that they're all AAA.
Yeah. So that's a bit it's a bit of oversimplification of what we're discussing here tonight of Cypher.
And then like let's use the simplest math possible, right? Steam supposedly makes $17 billion a year, PlayStation makes $32.5 billion a year. Right. So
I'm sorry, how much does Steam make?
17 billion a year.
Yeah. Sony makes more money with their AAA games on PC than on PlayStation. Oh boy.
Where you
Cypher, where
put the source in the chat. We're not even gonna entertain this argument. Like I'm done dealing with the harassing guerrilla warfare, partisan ambushes in the canyon with all this bull crap. Put your source with a link in the chat, and then we'll have the discussion.
He said the Viet Cong or the chat.
Yeah, I'm tired of dealing with people popping out from straw mats right in dugouts underneath the hut.
Oh my! He said straw mats. Oh my! Oh geez. No, I mean all jokes aside, Night of Cypher, please. By all means, if you are adamant that Sony makes more money with their AAA games on PC than on PlayStation, please provide us the link, right? Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade both make considerably more on PC. Okay, how much more? And point me to the source. That's all you have to do. Point us to the source and tell us how much.
Yeah, stop with the straw man whataboutisms and suppositions and assertions. I want the source. I walked you through the math. You can follow a link to my article on my blog. Right, you can backtrack that data to Matt Piscatella's posting from NPD.
Yes,
not dealing with fanfic tonight.
It's publicly available. Okay, show us the link. Where's this publicly available? I haven't seen this in Sony's financials. And actually, if you look at PlayStation's financials, Night of Cypher, if you look at their revenue numbers, PC's what was PC percentage of revenue for Sony?
They made $658 million on games sold off of PlayStation. So if you assume that that's all on PC, all on Steam, that's $658 million.
And that's what, like 4%, 6% of revenue?
No, not even that. Not even that. That's like less than 2%.
So Cypher, what we just cited you PlayStation financials, right? That they've actually released about games selling on PC. And we just quoted you 2%. That accounts for 2% of revenue. So your math isn't mathing. So please, let us know. Oh my gosh. No, you need to Knight, you need to find a source that says that Sony makes more with their AAA games on PC than on PlayStation. We just cited you financial data from their financials, right? But please, like seriously, this, we're not you might be new to the show. We don't do this. Might work at other shows, but we don't allow folks to come in here and just drop stuff, without backing making these claims without backing some kind of source. He says he's getting it, so we'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen that logic.
No, I've not, and we use publicly available sources.
He says he'll be
a little less with the chit chatter, right, and a little more of going to get the source that you suppose and claim is out there. Yeah. We don't need the play by play of you dropping every 10 seconds in the chat that's publicly available. My response to that is right. We'll be here waiting.
I feel like the Jeopardy. Da, 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 da. Yeah, you got to hurry up because I'm on borrowed time here. I'm still a little bit under the weather.
Close to my bedtime. Just let me be blunt and straightforward because I don't like my time being wasted. Don't come back here with some bullshit, right? Don't come back here with some spreadsheet from NeoGAF or Reset Era or some college kid's research paper. Come back with SEC filed GAP IFRS data, right? That actually supports this.
Yeah, no, he said don't come here with a NeoGAF spreadsheet. Oh my
Yeah, I'm 4 years.
Oh,
4 years of doing the
bro.
show now. I have the list of like all the foolishness that we've seen, and now I can rattle it off in defense before these people come in here with something ridiculous.
Oh my god. Real Date says we're not even arguing live service games. Those are day and date already. You can tell people don't listen to the conversation. Oh my gosh. Oh, so I think what he's saying is he's saying that their day and date games, live service games, have made more money or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's getting at.
No, I think he's saying these people are complaining for Sony to put its games day and date on Steam, and he's like, they're already putting their live service stuff day and date on Steam. Like, what more do you want?
Ghostface says my man's going to come back with a redacted file. It's going to come back something like looking like the Epstein files. I don't think he's coming back, Logic.
I mean, he seemed to be fairly adamant. I would hope he would have the integrity and the intestinal fortitude to make good on his claims.
Oh, he says he has it. All right, just put the link in the chat. So, I don't. This is for having something. This is taking a long time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You were right. So it's the 658 million is like a 2.02% of their revenue.
Okay. All right, he has it. Come on, Knight, hurry up, please. I'm still a little bit under the weather. Irritano says, better not be some opinion piece bullshit. I think I'm going to hire a fact checker for the show, Logic.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's also not some article from Xbox Era or some, admittedly like Xbox aligned brand supporting podcast or website outlet, with zero data backing it up.
Yeah. So his claim, Night of Cypher, for those who just joined the show, Night of Cypher is claiming that only moderators can drop links in the chat. Really?
Right. Use internet workaround and just put dot right instead of the actual period for the website, and I'll grab it and convert it over.
Or you can give us the
So I'm saying he could, if he wants, he can write it like that, right? You can convert the period into the word dot, right? Or use X or some other symbol, whatever makes it easier for you.
Yeah. Do that Night of Cypher. He's saying he has it, but he hasn't posted it yet. So I guess his assertion is that Sony's AAA games make more money on. Let me go back and look. I don't want to misquote him.
Well, let's even go back to the start, right? His
PC is larger than all consoles combined. That 14% is larger than the PlayStation players who buy AAA games by quite a lot.
Yeah.
Conjecture. And then he said Sony makes more money with their AAA games on PC than on PlayStation.
Yeah. So those are the things we're looking to find some basis for.
Yeah. All right, he's got like another minute or so. I'm getting tired of waiting. Yeah, Logic, there aren't any other big game releases for the rest of the year, right? I think we're pretty much done, I think.
No, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a full title release, but I guess the Avatar DLC was kind of the last big shoe drop, I think, of 2025.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I don't know if I want to go back and play that. I don't know. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like playing an RPG where I have to like craft my own sword and like wash myself if I step on shit or something.
Yeah, look, man, I've been offering suggestions, solutions to your problems for weeks. I'm not.
Well, I just keep going back. It's really it's I just keep going back to Arc Raiders. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
but you're not having a good time playing it.
I mean, it's okay. I don't know. I might go back to The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 5 Pro. He's saying he's posted them. Do you not see them? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Did you post the way Logic instructed you to post it, Cypher?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either on StreamYard or
Yeah,
on the YouTube live chat.
What is he writing now?
I'm guessing that's him trying to post the link and maybe YouTube's.
No, just type in the can he just drop the link and then edit it before he hits send?
Yeah, I mean that's what we were trying to say tonight. If you go back to the example I posted, just take anywhere that there's a dot in the URL and just write the word dot, and then I'll grab it and convert it.
I guess I could make him a mod.
No, don't do that.
And then I can unmod him.
Yeah, because
He said IGN and tech. Okay, so what are the titles of those articles?
Yeah, just post the
title of those articles.
Yeah, just post the plain text title of the article, and we'll Google it and look it up.
Actually, I'm going to run this. Hold on a sec here. Saying Helldivers 2 is PlayStation's fastest selling game of all time, over 12 million sold in 12 weeks.
Yeah, so Nate, you cited one game that's going to PC, and I don't understand how you go from that to Sony makes more money selling its games on PC than it does on PlayStation.
PC sales now account for nearly a third of Sony's first party game revenue.
So I assume that assertion is in this IGN article that you just dropped the title for.
Because that is not, by the way, reported in any of Sony's financials, by the way, King of Cypher or Knight of Cypher. I'm trying to look this up right now. Sony games do sell better on PC. That's not true. Like where are you getting that from?
So I went through the article that you posted for IGN. There's nothing in there that makes any sweeping extrapolation of the impact of selling games on PC versus PlayStation. It just says that it was the fastest selling of all time.
And it doesn't correlate to PC. Yeah, and I'm running this through this chat GPT right now. Him saying that he's saying the 2% is 2% because Sony makes 30% off third-party games on their own platform and include their revenue sources. Stellar Blade sold better on PlayStation, on PC than PlayStation by quite a lot. How much? So real quick, I just ran when you said that just real quick, Night of Cypher, you said PC sales now account for nearly a third of Sony's first party game revenue. I just Googled this or ran this through ChatGPT. PC sales did not account for 33% of Sony first party AAA revenue. There's no evidence available. There's no evidence in the available data that PC makes up anywhere near 1/3 of Sony's first party revenue. And Nate's saying he's trying to argue Helldivers 2, which sold slightly better on PC, and Stellar Blade sold well on PC, being released later, while having Denuvo making it unpirateable for a few months in that window.
So what you're saying, Cypher, is so we know, because they have actually filed it in their SEC filings, that they make $660 million from selling their games on PC. And again, I'm giving you a largely deferential argument because everything that they sell off PlayStation is not all on PC, but we'll just go with it to make it simple. So what you're saying is that you're claiming that what they sell in first-party game titles is $2.1 billion, I guess, and that 700 million of that comes from them publishing games on PC.
Stellar Blade sold much faster on PC.
Okay, so I think like I'm gonna take this back to a larger thematic discussion that we've had on this show. PlayStation is a console competitor that includes services, software, and hardware. All right? They sell things to support and return ROI for the hardware sales that they make, to encourage and incentivize people to buy the hardware. Putting a game on PC doesn't convince people to buy PlayStation 5s. It convinces people to go buy PCs. And so maybe there's some value stream and worthwhile business for them over there. But the bulk of their business, right, the bulk of the $32.5 billion that they make is not made by publishing games to PC.
No, it's just not. I mean, 33% of revenue is not first-party games, doesn't come from PC. I don't know where he's getting that from. He is right that Stellar Blade sold faster on PC, but he also said it sold more on PC. We don't have any retail data that shows that the PC version has outsold the console version of Stellar Blade. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's, yeah, I'm lost now. See, the bulk of their business on their own platform. Yeah, we don't disagree with that. No one's arguing. Yeah. But I think what you're saying, Night of Cypher, is that 33% of their, you're saying that 33% of their AAA first party revenue comes from PC. That's not true.
Yeah, Sony makes 30% off games they don't make. That's a lot of correct. And what is the access point by which you gain access to their digital storefront? It's through their hardware. And what helps incentivize people to buy hardware? The availability of games that are made specifically for that hardware. That is a product differentiator. Putting your games on other platforms incentivizes people to go buy those other hardware platforms, which is antithetical to the success PlayStation is trying to drive.
Yeah, I'm just exclusives don't sell consoles. That's been proven.
That hasn't been proven. We're not doing that.
Jesus Christ, that has not been proven, by the way. I don't know where you guys get that from.
You have a bulk of games that are available on both platforms, at least Xbox and PlayStation. A human being walks into a store and they make a choice with what to walk out with. They either walk out with the thing where their friends are playing, or they walk out with the thing that maybe is cheaper or has access to a given service, or they walk out with a thing that has content that they can't get anywhere else. Or in this case, in this day and age, they walk out with the thing that has access to the most content, which today is PlayStation, across the consoles.
Now he's saying he agrees with you. This guy's all over the place.
I wonder if this is the guy who came into that one episode and walked away asserting that I said exclusives don't matter.
There might be him. I think it's the same guy. All right, I'm not gonna entertain this conversation anymore. Not doing it. Thank you for the conversation night, but yeah, I'm not. You're not making much sense. I wonder if it's the same person logic.
We'll just chalk it up to maybe we were confused and we all just violently agree, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So anyhow. All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight's show, Logic. Like I said, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I mean, I feel better, but a little under the weather. But we're almost at 2 hours here. Unless there's something else you want to talk about. I'll take that as a no. All right.
No, I think you're good. I thought there was one other thing that I needed to pull apart, but maybe we got through it all in the course of the other stuff.
Yeah. And if not, we can always discuss it. I don't know. Well, next Wednesday is Christmas Eve, so no BRAP next Wednesday. Christmas Eve. So I'll probably do a BRAP sometime next week. I don't know. But yeah, no BRAP next week because of Christmas Eve. Yeah, go ahead, Logic.
I guess my overall summary from tonight is, look, I think we've been well documented on record about like how there are those of us who enjoy gaming in the moment right now, right, in the availability of content that is there that services our needs, versus the people who spend a ton of airtime talking about what gaming is going to be like next year or the year after that or next generation or 10 years from now or 20 years from now, when some 5-year-old who plays on a phone and a tablet eventually has disposable income and can afford to actually be a participant on the market. I think, at least my takeaway from the last few weeks is, like I said, I think for those of us who have been getting AAA games, who have been getting bangers, who have been getting games that take advantage of our hardware, like I said, I think we are like an incredibly small part of the market, and quite honestly, I think we're fortunate to be getting those games still. I think, and I've constantly formulated new arguments about why we shouldn't spend as much time arguing with the people who just spew fan fiction and world building every week. Like, I think these people could probably write the next Game of Thrones, right, if they spend as much time, right, writing creative works as they do spinning yarns about, falsifying things in the gaming industry. I think more and more, like, I walk away from this week thinking, this market could implode, right, at some point. There's a few things that those of us have to do, right? Like, we can, I hate to say it, but we can continue spending, right? Continue voting with your dollars, continue supporting the things that you love. Because, like I said, people are taking risks on the hopes that enough of us will continue to buy it, and that enough of us continue to want to send that demand signal. That, quite honestly, there need to be some gatekeepers and some guardians of high quality in this gaming industry, and particularly in this gaming community, because quite frankly, we are the smallest in number. We are the besieged set. Like, I think the Xbox guys often talk about like things like as if they're somehow marginalized, or they're somehow, there's some like prejudice against them, that there's some like, outraged minority. I'm like, no, you guys are actually in the majority. Like those of us who are trying to be the gate guards and gatekeepers of quality are actually the ones who are small. So I think more than anything over the last few weeks, I've realized, like, enjoy the games that we love, right? Because there's no incumbent requirement for the industry to keep taking the risks that it takes to get us this stuff. And so just appreciate it while it's here, right? And play those games, play the high quality stuff.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. I'm gonna grab the super chat here by the Gaming Ledger. The $5 Canadian. Thank you, Gaming Ledger says, Matt Piscatello's posts annoy me because he doesn't include context unless he wants to. It just leaves me wishing I had access to the numbers. So thank you for that super chat, Gaming Ledger. All right, I do want to wish everyone a happy holidays, a safe and happy holidays, and if you're off the next week or so, hopefully you're getting some good gaming in. Some great sales right now. The different gaming storefronts. Steam Winter Sales kicked off. How long does the Steam Winter Sale go for? I forget. From today to first week of January. Let me look at this real quick. Yep, it's now through January 5th. So take advantage of the Steam sale. Assassin's Creed Shadows is 50% off right now. If you're interested in playing that, that's available in the Steam store, but there's also sales on the other storefronts as well, both PC and console. So on that note, we're out. Logic, always a pleasure. Appreciate it. Maybe I'll see you at Halo this weekend, maybe, if you're going to be on. But big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And like I said, I probably will do a BRAP next week. Not going to be Wednesday because Wednesday's Christmas Eve. But give me a follow on X or Twitter if you haven't done so. It's BRAP_podcast. And if you're new to the show, consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And do the YouTube thing. Hit the thumbs up. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, BRAP, sorry, I do want to stick my toe in the door real quick. So sorry, with Night of Cypher. I think, and maybe I'm reading it wrong, but maybe I'm reading it right. I'm gonna give you a little bit of the baton back. Just so. I think you're actually picking at something that has value. I think, as you admitted, you're having a hard time explaining it in chat. So, maybe it's like the first thing. Like I think maybe you entered with an argument instead of maybe entering with like the abstract of your thesis first. So if you have access to someplace to write this, like at length, like what you're actually trying to say, I think that article would actually have value. So I don't know if you have a blog or if you're able to post that somewhere, but I think if you take a step back and actually like formulate your point, I think there is something there that admittedly maybe, I didn't get because I saw the argument first and not the thesis. And maybe the chat is also reacting to that. Because maybe it's kind of out of order and kind of jumbled. So I don't know. I would encourage you to put that out, even if people don't agree with it. At least you'd be putting a different perspective out there for people to think through.
All right. Thank you, Logic. All right, everyone. Good night, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.